If you have a cat, you totally get it. One minute, they're a buzzing, purring ball of fluff in your lap, and the next, you get a swift bite or a scratch. But what if you could actually crack their code? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. Let's dive into how to speak cat, understand feline consent, and build an even better bond with our furry friends.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll tackle that classic human-cat misunderstanding. Then we'll get into their personal space, which is a really big deal. After that, I'll show you a super practical cat consent test. Then we'll learn to decode their signals, and finally we'll see how it all comes together to build a truly trusting bond.
All right, let's kick things off with a scenario that, if you're a cat person, you've definitely experienced. I know I have. We've all been there, haven't we? You see your cat looking absolutely adorable, you're overcome with love, you reach out to pet them, and bam, you pull back a hand with a scratch on it. It feels like a total rejection, but really, it's just a classic case of lost in translation. And here's the absolute key to it all. What feels like love to us big, clumsy humans can feel really overwhelming or even a little scary to a cat. It's not that they don't love you back, it's just that our way of showing affection doesn't always translate into their language. To really get this, we need to try and see the world from their point of view, and that starts with understanding their concept of personal space. You know how you have an invisible bubble around you that you don't really like people getting into without an invitation? Well, it's the same for animals. When that bubble gets popped unexpectedly, it can make them feel unsafe and trigger a defensive reaction. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, especially when you compare cats to dogs. Dogs are pack animals, right? So they generally have smaller personal space bubbles. They're more used to being in a big pile. But cats? They evolved from solitary hunters. That means their personal space bubble is usually way bigger, and they're a lot more sensitive about who enters it and how. And this slide just hits the nail on the head. Think about it from an instinctual level. In the wild, when is a small animal suddenly grabbed and lifted into the air? When it's been caught by a predator. That deep, primal instinct is still there. So when we swoop in for a hug, it can make them feel completely powerless and vulnerable. So, what's the fix? How do we show our love without setting off those alarm bells? It's actually really simple. We ask first. Let's get practical and learn the cat consent test. This fantastic infographic from the Edmonton Humane Society breaks it down so perfectly. It's a simple 3-step process that can literally change the entire dynamic between you and your cat. See? It all comes down to one simple, game-changing idea. You're giving them the choice to say yes or no. Let's walk through how it works. Okay, step 1, crouch down. Instantly, you're not this huge, looming figure anymore. You're smaller, less threatening. And avoid direct eye contact, which can feel like a challenge to a cat. Instead, try giving them a slow blink. In cat language, that's basically a kiss. It's you saying, I trust you, I'm relaxed. Now for step 2, and this one is so important. You gently extend your hand. If your cat comes over and sniffs your fingers, that's just them gathering information. It's their version of a handshake. It's a hello, not an invitation to immediately start petting. The key is to wait and let them make the next move. And that brings us to the moment of truth, interpreting their response. If they give you a clear yes by rubbing their face on your hand or leaning into you, that's your green light. Go ahead and give them a gentle scratch on the cheeks or under the chin for a few seconds. But if they don't move or they lean away, that's a polite no thank you. And the absolute most important thing you can do in that moment is to respect it. Just stop. So the consent test is a great way to start an interaction. But cats are communicating with us all the time through their body language. Learning to read those more subtle cues is the next level of speaking cat. These are the whispers. Before a cat feels the need to shout with a scratch, they'll whisper that they're getting uncomfortable. That thumping tail, ears that start to flatten, a sudden stop in purring, these are all signs that they're done with the interaction for now. If you can learn to listen to the whispers, they'll never have to shout. And now for one of the biggest myths in the cat world, the belly. When a cat rolls over and exposes its stomach, it is the ultimate sign of trust. They are telling you, I feel completely safe with you. But it is not an invitation to rub that belly. For most cats, that's a huge violation of trust. So admire from a distance, but resist the urge to touch. So you might be thinking, wow, this is a lot of work just to pet my cat. But it's about so much more than that. This is about fundamentally changing your relationship for the better.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. This quote from the experts at Second Nature Behavior really says it all. When you respect their boundaries, you're building trust, lowering their stress, and just creating a happier and safer home for everyone involved. At the end of the day, every time you ask your cat for permission, you're sending them a powerful message. You're telling them, your feelings matter. You are in control. You are safe here. And a cat that feels safe and in control is a cat that will be more confident, more relaxed, and very often way more affectionate because it's on their terms. So here's a little challenge for you. The next time you feel that urge to go scoop up your cat, just pause, crouch down, offer your hand, and ask the question. You might just be amazed by what they have to say.